Before we jump into the video, this product was provided by the company, but they didn't get any copy approval. They didn't have any input in the writing or filming of this video. They merely provided the product for the video. That's all. I love using my Steam Deck in non-traditional ways. I used it as a dedicated gaming PC before, as a proper desktop. I even use it fairly regularly as a laptop. And the best way to do that, I found, was using an external display. And up until now, I've been using this random, just Wacom digital drawing tablet I've had lying around after I no longer needed it after completing my graphic design degree. And I generally don't use it that much. I mostly use my mouse or a pad tablet if I need it. But a full drawing display isn't something that I've needed for quite some time. But it sparked a new use case for me when I started using it just as a portable display, because it was thin, it was portable, simple setup, but it was a bit unwieldy due to the nature of it not necessarily being originally designed as a dedicated portable monitor. Not having a kickstand was really annoying. The not having a proper touch screen, but mostly used a touch for like a stylus, which was fine, but it was getting kind of annoying. I recently got an email from a company called NOCN. They are a purveyor of gaming monitors, just general display technology, and they wanted to send me their portable display. And I'm like, this actually might be a super helpful and awesome thing to take a look at. So they sent it out, and honestly, I've been enjoying it a lot. A dedicated external display, I always thought they were just expensive and just generally wasn't worth the money. But after spending some time with this device, taking a look at it, evaluating and whatnot, I ended up really liking it. And coming at the price point, at least for the one I have, $150, honestly isn't a bad price at all. Frankly, I quite like it. I wish they would have spent that money in other ways, but we'll get into that later. Right now, I'm going to talk about what this thing is compatible with, and it's basically anything that has an HDMI port. The display has two Type-C outs, one for power and one for data, and the other one is an HDMI port. But it's not your standard HDMI port, it is a micro HDMI, which this is one of the points where I'm like, maybe they could have used their budget a little bit better, but I understand it was a sacrifice that had to be made for how thin this display is. And I don't like the fact that it's a micro HDMI port, but at least it's on the device side and not plugging into your computer and on that way, because that would be really annoying. And it's also a cable type that isn't particularly common. Thankfully, it does come with all the cables you need in the box. It does support display through Type-C though, so if you wanted to use this as a USB Type-C portable monitor, you most certainly can. And this device is compatible with basically anything. I tested it with a Steam Deck, a Nintendo Switch, and a laptop, which I'll go into later is one of my favorite use cases for this. The display has a 1500:1 contrast ratio, a 16:9 aspect ratio, and it covers almost 180 degrees, but 178 degrees wide view angles. It is a 1080p IPS display, which honestly is amazing at this price point. It covers 100% of the sRGB color space, which is perfect if you want to do some like color editing, maybe some photo editing, video editing. You should be covered for more amateur style productions like I am. So if you're wanting some high-end, just high caliber photo editing, I would look elsewhere. But for your day-to-day, making a Facebook post, this device would be plenty color accurate for those purposes. Lastly, for the model I have, it has a touchscreen, which I'll go into later is awesome, but it can be finicky. Overall, the build quality is outstanding, being made out of almost 100% aluminum and glass, which is just stellar build quality. It is incredibly thin and incredibly light. It has installed speakers, but they're not great. They don't sound all that good. They're a standard fare for PC speakers, and they'll get you by, but if you even have a halfway decent sound system on your laptop, or find some way to get the audio to go through, let's say, your Steam Deck, you'll be better served with that than what the speakers can deliver on this portable display. The experience of using this portable display as a dedicated display for some of your devices, like if you're using a Switch or a Steam Deck, overall the experience is pretty good. Except the touchscreen is really finicky when you're using a Steam Deck. It's intermittent, it's weirdly touchy, it registers touches from other sides of the screen. I don't know if this is a Steam Deck thing, or just the firmware on the display not exactly liking the Steam Deck in general, or it could have been the dock I was using. I was using the Sabrent 6-in-1 dock, and I was able to replicate those issues on other docks I had, so I suspect this might be a SteamOS issue not exactly liking external touch displays when they're not the Steam Deck's native display. The Nintendo Switch worked just fine. Of course, the touch display did not work in that, but using any other Windows-based devices, ROG Ally, or in this case, a laptop, it worked just fine. And in Windows, the touch display was quite nice, but Windows, once again, is a little finicky. I think this is an issue with my unit in particular. Whenever I drag my finger across, it starts generating like a circle around it, and I'm trying to open just a program, but it starts opening like I'm left-clicking. It's a Windows issue, and because I wasn't able to replicate this on, other devices, so I think this is just a me thing in my particular laptop, because it also doesn't natively have a touch display, so it just might lack some drivers or might be missing. But the experience overall was pretty good when I wasn't struggling with the touch screen. For gaming, this display is pretty good. In game mode, it has just under 5 milliseconds of response time, which is about average for what you need when you're gaming. I would describe it as like the bare minimum of what you need to be a relatively competitive gamer. Just the average gamer won't notice it. But if you're like on the highest end of CSGO gaming, you'll probably notice it. But frankly, the more dire problem is the 60 Hz refresh rate this device supports, which for competitive gaming isn't great. But especially if you're using this with something like the Steam Deck, that's probably not what you were doing. You're gonna be mostly playing indie titles or running games at below 60 FPS, especially if you're the Steam Deck or the Switch. So the 60 Hz refresh rate, while disappointing, is understandable when you come to realize that this is only $150, and the non-touch model is only $100. And to me, that's a pretty good sacrifice to make if it means you get this high quality of an experience, especially at this price point. But my hands down favorite way to use this external display, while gaming on it is fun, especially if you use like a Steam Deck or a Switch, and it would make so much sense for if you're a child of divorce such as I. But my hands down favorite way to use it is as a extended display for my laptop. I recently had to go visit my aunt and uncle and dog sit for them while they were on vacation, and having this display with me was honestly awesome. Having a second display is amazing because I don't know if you guys noticed in the B-roll, in my at-home setup, I use 3 displays. So having 2 portably is way nicer than it is just having the 1 laptop display. It feels way less crowded. And 2, for me at least, is the bare minimum I need to feel truly productive. I have my editing happening on my main display and having my files open on the other, and I can feel way more productive, and it's way easier to move files around without having to open and close and minimize programs all the time. They have a few different models. They even have a 4K OLED model that I haven't had the chance to try, but hopefully someday in the future I might get a chance to try it. I love this display quite a bit, and I honestly would recommend it for a lot of people out there. For example, people who want to use their Steam Deck as like a laptop sort of situation when they go traveling. The portable display would be amazing for that. Or if you're the kind of person that uses your RG Ally as a dedicated, PC, and this, portable display would make it more easy to, use your device on the go. And if you're a child of divorce like me, you have to almost pack up your whole life every time you go between houses, especially if you're a gamer. Having to completely de-set up all your games, your Switch, your Xbox, all that all the time can be pretty annoying. So having a more flexible setup where you can just take the screen with you if you don't really have a simple setup at your either parent's house, it'd make this whole thing way easier so you can have a more collapsible, more break-it-downable setup. Because every time I travel between my parents' house, I would have to bring my Xbox, my Switch, and my PS4. I brought them all because I wanted to have access to all my games no matter where I was. And having to reset them up, going into the entertainment console and re-hooking up all that for like 20 minutes the first time I get home it's just a hassle. But if I could just go into my room, plop this portable monitor on my desk, hook up my Xbox, it would take like less than 5 or 6 minutes to get all the consoles hooked up that quickly. And just having to switch between the HDMIs wouldn't be that hard because the cable is just right there. If you wanted to check this product out for yourself, there's a link down below for Amazon if you wanted to check it out. There's a few different models, so I'll throw down some of those links down there, but bear in mind, I only tried the $150 Touch model. I'll preface that down below so you know which one I'm talking about. And they have a 4K OLED, there's a few other ones, there's the non-touch for $100. So bear in mind, I haven't tried those ones out yet, but I've heard good things. I would love to hear what you guys think though. Have you considered buying a portable display like this in the past? I would love to hear what your guys' use case for these might be. I might have missed one, might be super useful. I would love to hear about this down below. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All of those social media garbage down below. And last but not least, have a wonderful day.